A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 159. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot, aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran. Today's episode, Broken. In, out, or all about. So, I'll be the first to admit that I am broken. I have been broken. Maybe not as much currently, but I think to some extent we are all broken. And what I mean by that is that we don't necessarily fit into the same mold. We've had different experiences in our life which have really shaped our view of the world and the view of ourselves. And I think that sometimes we place expectations on ourselves that drive these feelings of inadequacy or, being not good enough, or not being in the right place, or just some feeling of general dis-ease. This is a term that I think a lot of us live with, and I don't think you should feel alone. I know I have certainly felt broken. I can remember back when Tommy was diagnosed with brain cancer. At that point in my life, just a few years ago, I hate to think how long ago it was, but I did feel broken. My marriage was going through a difficult time. I was losing my best friend to brain cancer. Work was difficult. I just wasn't feeling like myself. I was dealing with a lot of, aches and pains and suffering from chronic back pain. It felt like in so many different ways, I was broken. Things were not working. And I needed to make a change for that. Now, that was not the first time I have felt broken. I have felt broken many times. In fact, my life has been shattered from time to time. Back before I met my wife, I was almost married. And I live with a woman. Think what you want over that. But regardless, is besides the point. She had some issues, she really encouraged physical violence and asked me, basically to hit her, and told me that she wished I would hit her, so I knew she knew I cared. I knew that was a real winner there. I had to get rid of her, and I broke off. I was going to marry her, and I broke off the marriage about 2.5 weeks before the wedding. That was a gutsy move. But it was something I really had to do. In that case, I guess I broke the agreement. I broke the terms. And it's, cost me a lot of money to get out of that legally. But, whatever your reasons are of why you feel broken, just recognize that, if you feel broken and you acknowledge that you are, That's a good place to start. That sometimes you don't really know what's going on, or you might know, but you're afraid to admit it to yourself. And it's going to take some work maybe to drill down and look inward to see where you need to go with this, and see how you can try to fix things. Sometimes things are broken beyond repair, and you can't fix it. Like a good friend dying, you can't fix that. You have to deal and mourn the loss, and recognize that you're not really crying for them. You're crying for you and for your loss, because they're leaving. They're going to be doing their own crying and their own dealing with facing death. And I don't know if that's something you can't come back from, because it's a final result. But as long as we're alive and breathing, we can make some changes. And I know for a fact that I have come back from feeling broken, and I put my self back together again in such a way that I really just feel awesome. I feel rejuvenated in a lot of ways. Remember back when you were a kid, you really didn't have a lot of concerns. You didn't worry about moving the wrong way, or you just ran and jumped and hopped and played. You didn't think about physical activity. And maybe we weren't even consumed with overpowering thoughts about the future and how bad it is looking right now. Physically, spiritually, mentally, you felt all together probably at one point. You felt totally yourself. I'm back to that again. It took a lot of work. And I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth to help you. So when we feel that we're broken, I think there's a question of, do you want to try to repair your terms or replace them? Now, we can't unlearn things. Once we learn something, we learn it. Think about all the things that you've learned that have opened your eyes, and you can't go back. I feel that way quite often, especially when I read about the 9-to-5 work life and how society places, a lot of pressure on all of us to live a certain standard of life and make money and be driven by, material things. Of course, you can have anything that you want in the world if you have money. But I'm happy just putting a roof over my head and being able to wear clothes, decent clothes, and have a decent car. And I'm still working, on trying to make the best out of my life that I can. It's a never-ending struggle. And there were times where I felt broken, and it took me a long time to come back from that. After I called off my marriage, I actually had a really good job working in the VA medical system, and I was just so torn up that I ended up quitting that job. I really should have taken a sabbatical. It was not the best decision, but I was very young and educated at that time, or so I thought. I was educated and I knew nothing. But I thought leaving that job and moving on and going into business with some friends of mine would be a good idea. It was not a good decision. I experienced homelessness at that time. I had some retirement savings and I cashed it all out. Took a huge tax hit on that just because I had to survive. I got through it. My wife stuck with me through it. There were a lot of silver linings that came through that experience. I saw myself in a different light, and I proved to myself that I can pull myself up from the bootstraps and make something of myself and build something. And that is what I have. And this is why I do the show, is so I can help others hopefully think about their lives in a different way and recognize that, there are some cultures that really appreciate broken things. Think back about vases or, ancient pottery in Japan. You'll see a lot of them have been repaired and they're treasured. My wife, I had a coffee mug, one of my favorite coffee cups. The handle broke off in the dishwasher. It just snapped off. Pretty clean break. And I was like, okay, I'm going to fix it. And my wife was like, no, I'll just buy you a new coffee cup. Just throw that out. It's nothing special. But to me, it's not a point of being special or not. It's a point of, why should I waste money on buying a coffee cup? I really enjoyed that. It was my weekend coffee cup. Just something about it gave me a good feeling, holding in my hand, enjoying my coffee. Not worth any money. It just gave me a good feeling. So for that, it had value. So I'm going to repair it. I repair it, and I'll use it again, and continue to use it. Same thing with this nearly 60-year-old boat that I'm restoring. What I'm noticing is that a lot of the original switches and everything, they're much better built than the ones that are built today. If they're not working, I can take it apart, clean it up a little bit, put it back together, and it works beautifully again. It's built differently. And I guess what I'm telling you is that you too can build your life differently. Take this as an opportunity. This difficult time that you're going through, you're going to get through it, because everything in life is temporary. And in fact, our life, our lifespan, the amount of time that we have here on this earth alive is very, very short. And it's really just a blip in the whole span of time. And, we haven't been around for millions of years. We'll be lucky if we get to 100 years. We'll be lucky if we get to 75 or 50. Tom made it to 50. It can happen. I've also been shaped in my life by other friends who have died. And one of my best friends, his brother died when I believe he was 21 years old. And it was terrible. He died kind of in a freak accident. But as I think about Zahn, every picture that I saw of him, he had a big smile on his face, and he was doing something amazing, like going out to Montana to be on a dude ranch to work for a while. He was an artist, so he had incredible paintings that he made. He lived life to its fullest. It was short, but it was full. In comparison to another guy I knew by the nickname of Bug. His real name was Rob, and he hated bugs, but he was giving everyone nicknames, so I started calling him Bug. Okay, that's it. I might write more about this, but let me know if it sounds interesting. In any case, Bug was a real character, and he married an exotic dancer. I think she was bisexual because it was kind of, I guess, maybe an open relationship. It didn't last very long, I don't think. But Rob died alone in his room after like tripping a couple days on ecstasy. And I mean, this is what I heard. I kind of fell out of touch with him, but Reed tried to reconnect and found out that he had died. And he was apparently dead for a week before they found his body. His roommate thought they didn't take out the trash. But where's Rob? Well, he's dead, rotting in his room. He died, I think, when he was 27. These things happen. I have another friend, Kim, I've talked about before. She got AIDS from her dentist, purposely infected. One of the nicest, just virtuous people I've ever met. And her life was taken from her. She was basically murdered, all to prove a point. These things have shaped me. And when you talk about being broken, when my friend Kim died, I got very angry at God, at the world, just at life. I couldn't understand why someone so good was taken, especially in such a horrible way. And it took me a long time to deal with that. I had to put myself back together because life does go on. And yes, bad things happen, and bad things happen to good people. And I know there's a book written about that, but that is life. And, you can look at these things as being bad, or you can look at it as, I didn't ask for these things, but this is the way it is. And it's time to buck up and get going. Life is too short to get to just have that drain you and take away precious time. I tell my kids this all the time. For every minute that you're unhappy is a minute you could have been happy. A lot of this, we do have a choice to make. There is no easy answer as far as, how you should feel or why, and I'm not going to tell you how to feel. This is not what this show is about. This show is about giving you a swift kick in the ass that I realize isn't so swift sometimes, but to kick you in the ass and move you in the right direction. Now, if you're feeling broken, recognize that you may need professional medical help. You might need to go to a psychiatrist. You might need to go to a doctor. You can get some medication to try to help get you out of this funk or whatever you're going through. I am not a medical doctor. And I don't claim to be. And what I talk about is just based on my own life experience and what has worked for me. It may not work for you in the same way. In fact, it probably won't. You're going to apply it in your own way. I, for one, not only attribute all the changes in my life to my own doing, because they're certainly not. I've had a huge team of people. I've had a lot of people involved in my life that have helped me out along the way. Some of them being medical professionals. I am a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm going for my second degree. My son is working towards his third degree. And at 57 years old, it is physically taxing. And I could say, yeah, I'm an old man. I've got old man hips, and I'm limited. That is true. I am limited. But I'm mostly limited by my mental state and telling myself that I can't do things, because I can do them, but I'm psyching myself out. And this is why I think it takes practice to learn new ways of getting around these things, these places in your life where you feel broken. You can fix some things. You can work at it. It takes daily effort. It takes daily practice. Yes, I have aches and pains. I'm in the best shape of my life considering my age, and I feel great, but it is a constant effort, and I recognize how my day-to-day life is impacted by how much I exercise, how much I stretch, how much I eat, how much water, my water intake. Was work stressful? I mean, it's all, is something going on in my personal life that is affecting, my perspective. The way the world is going, today's politics, am I getting all stressed out about things that I can't change, Or am I stressed out about things that I can change and I'm trying to focus that energy on making something positive? That is what I try to do. I try to just let go of the things that I can't change and focus on the things that I can right here and right now. Take on my advice is that if you're feeling like you're broken and you're feeling maybe like you're meant for something else, right? And it's kind of an uneasy feeling, but you feel kind of stuck. Take on learning a new skill. Doesn't matter what it is, just that it's new, or somewhat new, or something that you have maybe a base knowledge of, or something that you can build on. But that more experience and more knowledge is going to make you more skilled. I'm going to go back to my boat work now. I'm not a mechanic. Just as much as I'm not a doctor, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not many things. I'm really a jack of all trades, master of none. I am not afraid to pursue something that I don't know about. I try to learn as much as I can, and I also try to make a decision about when to cut the bait, right? When is it costing me too much time and effort and making me spin my wheels and not getting any traction when I could just take a different route and get to where I need to go faster. I think a lot of the times, think perseverance has gotten me so far, and I owe a lot of my accomplishments to being perseverant, and also to proving other people wrong. When people tell me that I can't do something or it's impossible, I show them it is very quite possible. I've done it. I'm going to do it right here. And the more I do things like that, the more confidence I have. And I wear that with a badge of honor. I wear the fact that I called off a marriage 2.5 weeks before the wedding. I do wear that as a badge of honor too, because I know that if I would have gone through with that decision, which was a very, it was a bad decision to propose to that girl. We would not have worked out. I got out before any children were involved. And I know that if I would have stayed in the relationship, one of us would have been dead, and one of us would have been in prison. I'm just not exactly sure which one. But I'm glad, and I wear a badge of honor that I had the kahunas to break that off. A lot of people would just say, "Oh, I don't want to go through it. I'm not going to address it. I'm just going to be silent until it says I do," and they go through with it. And then they find out, no, I really shouldn't have done that. Should have just owned up to it, that it was not right, and then right the wrong for your own life. Again, sometimes we break things by choice, and we burn that bridge and we ain't going back. Other times we want to repair, try to salvage what was lost or broken or whatever, and build from that. And in other times, we want to go on in an entirely new direction. And sometimes I think we feel pulled to go off in an entirely new direction, and we're willing to take risks in order to make that happen. And in some ways, that has paid off for me. For instance, I really felt stressed out when I lived in Atlanta. I was experiencing a lot of road rage. In fact, as soon as I pulled my car out of the driveway, I was pissed off. It was not fun. I was spending a lot of time in the car, hours and hours and hours of my life just wasted in the car. I had to get out. I took another job in another city. I moved to Virginia, where I live now. It was a good move. I never, ever regret doing that. I made that on purpose. I changed. I didn't like my environment, and I needed a big change in order to kind of shock the system and allow myself the opportunity to throw my life up in the air and then give the opportunity to pull it back and put it into pieces and rebuild. Tear down, rebuild, tear down, rebuild. Life is temporary, okay? Things are temporary. Nothing is as permanent as you think it is. And it can be taken away from you. Now, skills can't be taken away from you, which is one of the reasons I advocate take on something new. Since Tommy has passed, I have learned how to play guitar. I practice playing guitar every day. Am I a master? No. But I'm getting better and better every day, and I make a dedicated effort to do that. It's a skill I have, and I'm getting better and better and better, and I really enjoy it. And it's so much fun. And, I just love music. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about my boat. I want to get that up and running so I can take my family out and my friends, and I can enjoy the Chesapeake Bay and go fishing. And it's really a tool for me to be able that I'm building. I'm building this part of my life. I'm building a new term in my life. Temporarily, it's taken me away from my family because I've been working on the boat and not able to spend time with them. They're not working with me on it. But that's okay because they're going to spend time with me once I get it done and we go out. Now, I've had help on that. I've had mechanics. I've had friends. I've had YouTube to learn what I need to do. And it all began with a choice that I made. And if you want to change your life, you need to make that choice right here. And you don't have to do it right here or right now. But you have to make that choice. I can't make it for you. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to say it. You have to own it. And it is up to you to make your life the way you want it. Now, you might be thinking that your life's working great. Some things in your life are working great, but maybe you're getting pushback from friends to say, "Hey, you know what? It's not so great, and it's this aspect of your life is causing you problems." I have a friend who is an alcoholic. He's highly functional. And it's difficult, okay? It's difficult watching him. He acknowledges that he is an alcoholic, and he is able to control it. Like he is stone cold sober when he goes into work, but over the weekends he's blotto, and he's blowing off his friends. Makes plans with them, but then he's too hungover from the night before to go and do things. He sees it as being okay. He doesn't see it as being broken. He's like, get off. He wants us to get off his back. He's in denial, and he's actually putting up a lot of resistance and pushing people away and isolating himself. I hope that you're not doing that. I'm a personal person, believe it or not. I keep a lot to myself, and I take personal responsibility for how I feel. So I'm not going to share a lot of the ways I feel with people and looking for them to help me. That's just not who I am, and I get that. Some things you need to handle in your own way, on your own time. And when other people try to help, it doesn't help. I'm going to try to be a friend, and I'm going to be there for him, whether he wants me there or not. He's been open and honest with me throughout our friendship, and I'm going to be open and honest with him, too. It's tough to see people that you love going through something like that, but I do recognize it's a disease. And a lot of the disease is it's taking him on a path that I know how it ends, and it's not good. He knows how it ends, and it's not good either. And I think he feels powerless to that. But he can get help, and there is help available to him when he wants it. But he's not quite there yet. Anyhow, this is where, again, I think practice comes in. And what I mean practice is, just doing it daily. Even if I'm trying to learn guitar, even if my life gets busy and hectic, I try to pick up my guitar for like 5 minutes, even if it's just plucking the strings for, and that's it. That's all I have time for. It's on my mind. I'm watching maybe a YouTube video on how to do things. I'm constantly doing it. I'm constantly moving myself forward, whether or not I recognize that I'm doing that. And that's what I mean about being on a path. When you have a goal in mind, then you can simply ask yourself, is what you're doing, is it moving you closer to your goal or taking you farther away from it? Back when I was in really serious financial trouble, hundreds of $1,000s of debt, with very, very young children, worried about their financial future and providing for them, I needed to do something. And it took a lot of dedicated effort to get there. It took a lot of sacrifice to get out of that. But I persevered and I dug my way out of it. And I had to acknowledge that we had issues, and my wife and I worked to address them. And is our life perfect? No. Is our finances perfect? No. But they're so much better than they are, and I'm so much better able to handle these things. When life situations change. In fact, I think that's where we fool ourselves, is that we expect life to stay the same, and it's not ever going to be the same. It's always going to be changing. We're going to deal with one issue, and another one's going to pop up, maybe two or three. Who knows? No one can see the future, but what you can focus on is right here, right now. What can you do to get something done and get yourself closer to where you want to be? And just keep chipping away. Keep chipping away. Now, if you're chipping away, and you're not getting anywhere, you're just spinning your tires. Maybe you need to figure out if this is something that you need to live with. Not everything that's broken can be fixed. Sometimes you just have to let it go. I've done that with plenty of, I'd say friends, but they weren't really friends. They were very one way, and friendship is two ways. And, after a certain amount of time, you just have to realize that some people are one-sided, selfish individuals, and you need to let them go. And again, it's a tough call. But if you're really meant to be friends, you'll be back. It'll be a two-way street again. But if not, you just got to live with it and move on. Being broken doesn't mean that it's fixable. And we can't unlearn what we already know. But we can learn new things, and we can go in new directions. And sometimes that's really our only choice, because we can't go back in time. We can't change the past. And so let's just recognize it for what it is and move on and move forward. Maybe you feel broken because you have been chipping away, and the world has gotten to you. I'll tell you, I felt broken when Tom died, and it felt like everything was coming at me. My armor was so thin at that time, and I was very sensitive. People would say things, and I'd want to cry. It was horrible. And I did need professional help with that, and I did get it, and I have moved past, and I have fixed myself. I have repaired myself, and I feel great. And I know that you can do this too. You owe it to yourself to live the life that you want to you want to live the best life that you can. And when I say the best, I mean the best for you, given your situation, given your circumstances, and being who you are, not according to my standards, according to your standards. Recognize this is, it's not only physical, it's mental, it's spiritual. And you can address these in different ways, and actually it will if you push in one area, you're going to also have results in other areas too. You're going to learn about all aspects of your life through this. And if you don't want to change or don't feel the need to change, don't change. Just because someone else is trying to get you to change doesn't mean that that's the right thing for you to do. You may have lost touch too. I'm going to wrap this up, but losing touch with the here and now. Sometimes we do get anxious about the future. We get worried about the future. And that should tell you that your head is not really in the present tense. You're not thinking about the here and now. You're thinking about the future. Well, we tend to think of things in extremes, either, really great or really bad. And there's a continuum, there's a range. And I think when we think in extremes, and that might occur, and it might be worthy to think about it, but recognize that statistically, it's maybe not likely to happen. A life in the reality is really centric. It's in the middle. There's middle ground, and when there's really bad, there's also really good sometimes associated with it. It somehow balances out. Can't explain it. That's just the way life is sometimes. And that's okay. So if you're feeling broken and you want to repair your terms, I know that you can. I mean, I know that you can work at it. And I wish you all the best of luck in figuring out how to move forward. Now, on my website, I do have an ebook about a purpose-driven life, and I think that may help you, give you some really good basic, insights and tips, and just really give you something to think about. My products on the website are they're not expensive. This is not to become rich. This is really to help people. And if you put in ASKITA 20, you're going to get 20% off of a product. Please check out the website if you're looking for something. If you need some type of help in dealing with your terms, you're looking to change the terms of your life, and you want to know more about something, and you think I can help, please reach out to me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. Check me out anywhere you get podcasts. Check out my website. Anyhow, I think that is it, and I wish you all the best. These are very trying times that we live in, but it's temporary. We're going to get through this. So use this to your advantage. Use this time to your advantage, and really get the life that you want on your terms. Until the next time, this is John Curran on A Swift Kick in the Ass. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.